For most of us, we play video games to escape, to experience the things we could never do in the real world. We race cars at breakneck speeds, battle aliens, or just have enough money to build a nice home and be financially secure. Games captivate and move us not only through their cinematic qualities and unique gameplay, but through their ability to tell a compelling story. Video games are an art form. Just like reading a book, a great narrative is one where you are engrossed in its world, completely lost to anything outside of the tale before you. There are countless games this year that told captivating tales, but only a handful delivered on a truly spectacular level. Here are our nominees and winners for COGconnected's Game of the Year Awards 2020, Best Narrative. From the truly stellar Annapurna Interactive, you'll traverse this point-and-click adventure as Conway, a trucker looking to make his final delivery for an antiquities company. Told in multiple parts, Conway attempts to make the delivery to an address he can't seem to find while traveling along the mysterious Route Zero. Along the way, Conway encounters a diverse cast of characters who join him on his journey as the narrative turns into a sprawling mystery with engaging dialogue and unique perspectives. The story of Kentucky Route Zero is entirely about the narrative you create. The player is often given multiple choices in a situation with no right answer. The game merely adapts to include your choices as fact. Like a proper Greek myth, Hades follows the story of Zagreus, son of Hades, as he attempts to escape his father's realm in the underworld. As a roguelike, the story can only progress in fits and starts. However, the narrative you eventually uncover is a fantastic one. The dialogue and writing of Hades is engaging enough to bring each character to life in glorious detail. Zagreus' intentions become apparent as this tragic hero's quest unfurls, with each new tidbit keeping you hooked for just a little longer. Hades has been well received for its gameplay, but its fascinating and compelling narrative deserve equal praise. When the previous SpiderMan game launched, Peter Parker was already established as the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. We met Miles in a few missions, but it wasn't until the end of the game that we learned he too had gained powers. This year's sequel sees the titular character come into his own after being tasked by Peter to protect New York. Spider-Man Miles Morales is a harrowing tale of overcoming adversity and becoming your own person. It introduces multiple levels of humanity to Miles as he balances his family, personal, and superhero life. Miles Morales gives us a new take on Spider-Man, one that is arguably even more interesting than Peter's. This young web-slinger has a diverse and complex story to tell. It was years in the making, but Final Fantasy VII finally got its remake. The iconic entry in the long-running franchise had its graphics, gameplay, and narrative fundamentally changed for the better. This entry only covers the beginning portion of the gargantuan adventure, but at its conclusion we see a, spoiler alert, massive change in narrative from the original game. Not only does Final Fantasy VII Remake have more complex and profound writing, but we are left with the promise of an entirely new story. The future of Final Fantasy VII could be completely different from the narrative we already know. Seeing the advancement in storytelling and character development has been exhilarating to say the least, and we can't wait to see where it goes from here. No one expected a game like this when it was announced. Every tiny detail you experience adds to the game's pure, powerful narrative. From the dynamic, complex characters to the questions of morality and honor, right down to the way the wind blows to set every scene. Ghost of Tsushima was already stunning gaming from the moment it was announced, but it continued to garner praise well beyond its release. The story of Jin is a heartfelt, moving tale of loss and what someone is willing to do to right a wrong. This is a game that explores the intricacies of humanity and does so with a cinematic flourish we have never seen before. It is true artistry in motion. And the winner of COGconnected's Best Narrative of 2020 is... If the runner-up is the poetic, artistic examination of humanity, then The Last of Us Part 2 is the raw, unfettered look at what it means to be human. Carrying on from the grim conclusion of its predecessor, The Last of Us Part 2 is a tale of broken humans and what it means to survive. Each character is a murky shade of gray, whose actions and choices are neither good nor bad, simply consequences of the situations they find themselves in. It's a sobering, unsettling sight, but one treated with gravitas and realism. The Last of Us Part 2 shows the horrors of the world while being respectful to the subject matter and not making it graphic for the sake of being graphic. Every moment of the game is a reflection of the characters and narrative that Naughty Dog wants you to feel, and their message comes through loud and clear. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell to make sure that top quality COGconnected content keeps on coming.